For this video, we're going to be going over mindfulness skills. First, we're going to be doing observation, then describing, and we're going to finish off with participating. So the skill of observing is to simply notice something. This may be noticing a sight, a smell, a sound, our feelings, or our emotions. Simply noticing something for what it is without judgment. So an exercise that I often do with clients to start us off is to simply observe our hand. Try observing or noticing your hand without judging it, without criticizing, or adding an evaluation. You can also practice this skill by simply observing an object or your breath. I often ask clients if they can think of a situation in their lives when it could be beneficial to simply observe. Common responses include playing a sport, being in nature, observing artwork, or learning a new task. We typically discuss how children are the definition of mindfulness, as they see and observe everything as new and for the first time. An example that a client gave me after group was that he received negative feedback on a job that he did while cleaning. And instead of getting defensive and upset, which was a common response for him, he shared that he used the skill of observation, which I thought was pretty cool. He was able to take a step back and observe his completed work before responding to the feedback. He noticed that there were areas of improvement and was able to use the suggestions before returning to work, which resulted in a more positive outcome for him. So the second skill that we're going to be talking about in this video is describing. So learning to describe what is being observed. So it's kind of a step two to what we just talked about. It helps us stay in the present moment and slow down. It involves identifying facts without an evaluation or judgment. So an example of this that we always do in group is imagine you are washing the dishes. Try and think of ways to describe washing the dishes, and try not to get caught up in an evaluation of doing the dishes, such as I hate doing dishes, why do I always have to do the dishes, I wish I had a dishwasher, things like that. Just try to describe the facts, such as the water's gray, the plate's hot, the detergent smells like lemons. So this brings us back to the present moment. Describing can help us describe our thoughts, events, and emotions to both ourselves and to other people in our lives. As we learn to describe things, we can describe and categorize our thoughts as well, such as that was a worry thought or that was an opinion. Describing helps us slow down and find words to describe something instead of merely reacting to it. This slowing down can help us make better decisions. So I have a few examples from clients that I received in feedback. So one client was able to use the skill of describing when they were at a restaurant, they were in a heated conversation with loved ones and it wasn't going so well. So instead of reacting with anger and frustration and hurt, they decided to use the skill of describing. So they took a step back, they started reading items on the menu, they described what the chair felt like beneath them, they were describing what the water felt like, they were reading signs throughout the restaurant. So when they took a step back, they were able to reduce the intensity of their emotion until they were able to participate in the conversation again more thoughtfully and calmly. So another one of my clients shared that she was in a very challenging work environment. Her employer was being unkind and yelling at her. So instead of yelling back or even quitting her employment, which historically was a struggle for her, she decided to take a break and go outside. And she actually started to describe the asphalt and the driveway that was outside of her workplace and with detail, so lots and lots of detail. And this helped her feel more calm and regulated before going back to work. So those are some things that I use when describing the tool of description. And the third skill that we're going to be talking about in this video is participating. So this can be a tough one to wrap your head around. When you participate, you enter into an activity fully and completely. The goal is to stay fully present and engaged. So that's kind of the description and the definition of mindfulness. I often ask clients, what activities could they benefit from participating in more fully? Common responses include when I'm at work, when I'm with my children, when I'm driving, when I'm eating food. Participating is the goal of both observing and describing, so it's step 3. If we run into problems, it can be helpful to take a step back and observe and describe the problem until we're able to understand what is happening. Once we have gained this understanding, we can go back to fully participating in our lives. So some examples of how we can practice participating is eating mindfully, being fully engaged and attentive to people that are around us, being fully engaged at work, and fully participating in laughter. So when I received feedback from some of my clients on all 3 of these skills in mindfulness, some things that they found helpful was that they named that it was helpful when feeling sad, angry, or overwhelmed. So all of these skills help us come back into the present moment with those emotions. It helps clients use wise mind, so the balance between our emotional and our rational mind. It also helps us take a break and respond to activities instead of reacting to them. And it helps us notice and remind ourselves to come back to the present moment.